The highly anticipated Acolyte just came out. And if you've been following the media tour that they've been doing, you knew the show was going to be bad.
To be in any way, shape, or form a part of the wave that is ushering in inclusion and safety for Black nerds. I think that when it comes to the world of fantasy and sci-fi in general, it hasn't felt like a safe space always for people of color.
It met expectations. The characters are boring, they're stupid, the exposition is just blatant. The fights look like we have the Matrix at home. They hardly use lightsabers even though they're all Jedi. The way that the Jedi get killed is lame as shit. So the whole premise of this Acolyte shit is that if she attacks Jedi without a lightsaber, then they won't use a lightsaber. So we end up with a bunch of fist fights and also her using daggers that somehow doesn't count as using a weapon. The whole thing is just really nonsensical, and the Jedi all have super lame deaths. And the plot, I think, is pretty safe to say it's going to be predictable. And I'll talk about my prediction at the end of this first episode. So let's just get into it. So we start off, the show is very transparent that there's twins. They talk about the first episode. So here we have the evil twin, May. She looks like Jedi Rick James. And if you thought, oh, Carrie-Anne Moss, aka Trinity, she's in the Acolyte, maybe she'll be fun. Boy, would you be disappointed. She dies to Rick James with daggers in the opening scene.
Not like this.
She toys with her the entire fight instead of just killing her. She doesn't pull her lightsaber out till the end, uses it to stop one dagger, and then gets distracted and dies with a dagger to the chest. She must have just been bored after Matrix Resurrections and figured, fuck it, I'll come do a scene. And with this kind of lame-ass Jedi death to start the show, you know it's not going to be good. And the whole premise of the plot, which you find out in episode 2, is that the evil twin wants to kill 4 Jedi. Well, minor spoiler, she kills 2 in the first 2 episodes. So, mission halfway accomplished. So then we cut over to the not evil Rick James, and she's working as one of these mechanics that repair the outside of ships, which is a stupid-ass job to exist. People in the show actually say, isn't that a job for droids? And she kind of plays it off with a joke. Even though it's a legitimate question and a good point, like why would you ever have humans working outside a ship like this? And then we get stuff that's obviously stupid here, like there being a fire in space. Typical lazy sci-fi bullshit. This introduction doesn't really tell us much, just that this is her job now. And in a minute, we're going to get some great exposition from this guy Yord, who looks like he's from Fusion Frenzy.
The game is over! Dub is the winner!
Easy.
And he's just going to tell us her whole backstory because apparently she doesn't know her own backstory. So here's Yord and some mermaid-looking alien chick. I can't remember her name. She's not important. And he comes in, kind of bullies the green guys from the Phantom Menace who speak broken English. Seems like a real dick. And again, part of the media tour was that there is no good and evil in Star Wars, so I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes kind of a villain, or at least he's just a non-stop asshole. Anyway, they want to find Osha, which is a terrible fucking name. All I can think of every time I hear her name is safety at work. So Fusion Frenzy goes to talk to good Rick James and pretty much tells her, hey, people think you murdered this Jedi really far away. Where were you last night? And despite all their technology and logs and all the ways they would know that it's not her, the bartender comes in and says it was her, like we live in the fucking Wild West or something. So Fusion Frenzy arrests her. And here he dumps her whole backstory, because I guess she's senile, about how there was a fire when she was a kid. The Jedi took her in at 8. She was a Jedi until 6 years ago, blah, blah, blah. And then she pretends this is all new information to her, but goes with them because they arrest her. Really just naked exposition and nonsense as far as any kind of logic. And this is where this kind of dumb stuff continues, and it makes the universe feel really small. So the guy from Squid Game, his name is Soul. He's teaching all the kids. You can see all the diversity boxes are hit. Fuck white men, am I right?
Because fuck them, that's why.
And, I like him a lot in Squid Game. It's a weird casting to cast someone who English is their second language, where it's very rough and kind of hard to understand. Because then his dialogue the entire time is really stilted. So I just thought it was a weird choice. I'm not sure if that's something I would have done, but I guess he got casted right after Squid Game was probably at its peak, so whatever. This Jedi Master comes to talk to Squid Game, and she's like, hey, we think your former Padawan murdered Trinity. And he refuses to believe it. And they explicitly say that he has a lot of attachment to her. For whatever reason, we don't know. and then proceed to put him to be the one to go chase her down. And it's like, why? Surely you have, at this point, tens of thousands of Jedi. Literally any one of them can go chase her down. You just sent 2 other ones to go do it. And instead you send the one who has attachments to go get her. Just dumb. And then we get this horrible jailbreak scene. And it's not even clear to me why she's here. Like, the 2 Jedi arrested her and they sent her on a prison transport ship only run by droids, and apparently only run by incompetent droids. So these other convicts say that they're going to escape and ask her if she wants to go. And she says no, she trusts the Jedi. And all we're supposed to really get from this is that she's a great person. So thank God that these droids are really inept and these prison cells haven't advanced since who knows when, because they're just grated cages and they have aliens with long ass tentacles. So the droid walks right next to the cell. This guy sticks part of his tentacle head out and they break out and they leave her behind because it's funny and they think she's naive or stupid or whatever. So the ship starts crashing because these criminals caused all this trouble, got into an escape pod, and her little handheld pip robot thing falls out. And she tries to use the Force to grab it, but can't. And I feel like this shutting yourself off to the Force thing is going to be like the trend for Disney Star Wars. We already had it with Obi-Wan. Sabine wasn't shut off from it from having it before, but it was kind of a matter of her just believing. And then all of a sudden she's throwing Ezra hundreds of meters across canyons, dueling with lightsabers, whatever. And now Rick James can't use the Force to move a little droid a few feet. And when you put the timeline together, like I said, she was 8 years old when she became a Jedi. She was a Jedi for 10 years, and then she's been removed from it for 6. The idea that she wouldn't even be able to use the Force at this low of a level is just nonsensical. And I'm sure that they're wanting to do this for a dramatic moment later, but it's getting played out. Luckily for her, the ship falls in just the way for the pip thing to slide to her so that she can hack her own way out because it's convenient. And then because she's such a good person, she lets out the most dangerous guy on the ship. He shoves her and then gets onto the escape pod by himself and runs away, leaving her to crash land on the ship. So this is the crash from space onto the planet. It doesn't slow down, doesn't resist, and obviously we know she's going to survive. Word on the street is that she stole Master Chief's plot armor from the Paramount TV show. So she's good to go. So we go back, and this little girl who looks like Suki from Avatar is talking to Squid Game about Rick James. And Squid Game tells this little girl a bit about their background. And this is the kind of exposition that actually makes sense. So that's a positive for the show. Way to go there. And he mentions the idea of a twin, but then immediately denies it, which is going to make this conversation really retarded in about 5 minutes. And at this point, when she walks in, he's just staring at a hologram of Rick James, like missing her, which, you know, kind of weird. And also, if his attachment is that strong after 6 years, kind of have to wonder what the relationship was. And on top of that, again, how could you ever send him on this mission knowing that his attachment is that strong? Just makes no sense for the Jedi to make this kind of emotional decision like this. So not only does Rick James survive this, she's not even hurt. Just gets up and walks it off. Seriously, if we could get her and Chief together, they could just slip space and hyperspace and whatever travel, crash land in any planet they want, and walk off in slow motion with the ship exploding behind them. They'd be invincible. Anyway, she walks off into the snow and has a vision. They get the report about the ship crashing. Suki and Squid Game go and get Fusion Frenzy, and they're going to fly to this planet where the ship crashed. We also get a shirtless scene here. It's mainly played as a joke. I'm not really sure what the point is. He looks like he needs a burger. Maybe he played too many rounds of bumper race. I don't know. And they're on their way. So Rick James has a vision where she sees bad Rick James or Rick James on cocaine. And pretty much we see her backstory. Her village burned down. Squid Game saved her, but not her twin. And her twin in this vision Skype thing says that, yeah, she killed Trinity. She should have told her she had done it with a dagger so that everyone would know that she was so fucking lame that they shouldn't even bother being upset about it. And they should just let this one slide. And there's a really weird thing here, too, between Squid Game and Suki, where Suki says permission to speak freely. Like the Jedi are a modern day military. Not really sure what inspired that. And I don't really think it makes sense in this world. Like, yeah, they have a master-Padawan relationship. It doesn't seem to have those kind of restrictions, at least, or that much of a structured hierarchy. It's kind of a weird thing to slip in. I don't really understand that choice. So I have no idea how hyperspace works now. Squid Game and crew show up. You can see his ship there kind of in the fog. By the time that Rick James has even walked off the ship, they've already gotten the report, flown however far it is, made it there, and also conveniently flew exactly where the ship was. I guess you can assume they have some kind of transponder thing or whatever, but the ship is like beat to shit and broken, as you can see. Except for her, of course, she's fine. So I have no clue how travel works at all in this universe now. They find her immediately. They don't use her tracks in the snow, by the way. He just senses where she's at and walks toward her. Not sure how many ways off the ship there were anyway, but whatever. She panics, says she didn't do it. He catches her with the force. She says it was my twin, she's alive. And even though he was completely certain 10 minutes ago that she was absolutely dead, he goes, oh, okay, well, let's go find her then, I believe you. Investigation complete. And we get what I guess is supposed to be a cool villain intro. Super fucking lame. He says, become an acolyte, kill without weapons. And he's got like a fucking voice synthesizer. He ignites his lightsaber for no reason, and he's her master. So presumably the way this show is going to go is cocaine Rick James will be reunited with sober Rick James, and then they're going to team up and kill this guy in the end. I'm assuming that's where this is headed. And that's it for episode 1. Yeah, not a very good start. The characters are all pretty lame. The Squid Game character is kind of interesting. I just really wish they had cast someone else. I mean, I like the actor, like I said, but it's kind of jarring when he's having a hard time speaking English, which is supposed to be the basic language in Star Wars. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought. I try to respond to all the comments that aren't just insults. Like and subscribe and all that. Thanks. See ya.